Warren Flynn, you look like you're in a cave.
I'm on a set in Atlanta working on Family Feud.
I understand. There you go.
Hi, Warren. I knew Warren when he was a wee kid, right?
Yeah, you sure did. You still in that same house in Lake Mary?
No, I moved downtown.
Oh, right
I'm
on.
down in Sodo. Yeah, no.
I'm over on Merritt Island.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it. I live on a canal.
nice. That's great.
Aloha, Mr. Warren.
Oh,
How you doing? How you doing, Rob, Bob, everyone else? Everyone good?
Hello.
Good to see you.
Fighting the good fight.
On camera, always. Frantically working on some text on the other screen. Keep looking in the wrong place. Wow.
Hey, Dave
yeah.
Rice. Dave Rice is always on these calls, but he's so quiet. Dave, can't you say anything on one of these?
Yo, how's it going?
Show some video from down south.
Nice to see you.
Well, I would say nice to see you, but it's an old picture.
It's not that old.
Yeah. Hi, y'all.
Aloha, Marcel.
Aloha.
Hi, Marcel.
Hello.
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 Hey, Mark. Hi, Heather.
Hey, Marcel.
How you feeling, Heather?
Good.
You
Big.
getting huge yet?
Yeah.
That's why you have
today-
that's why you have the screen up.
They said the baby's as big as the size of a head of lettuce today.
Aw.
So
Wow. Crazy.
cool.
Do you know
It's getting
do you know what you're having yet?
it's a girl. Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Super. Yeah.
Exciting. Well, hopefully we won't be on weekly Zoom calls anymore by the time you actually give birth, and you'll have to just email us or something and let us know.
For sure.
What's your due date?
Unless
Well, it's December 9th, so we could still be here.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, chances are we will be, but wishful thinking. And I mean, at the same time, maybe even once everything's all better, we should plan on having a monthly Zoom get drunk call and
No, I think that's a really good
check in
idea.
with people. Check in with people.
Idea, Marcel.
Yeah.
I second that emotion.
Yeah. I've kind of got used to hanging out with you guys every Wednesday. So
That's true. We couldn't just stop altogether.
Steve, how did you not get stuck on that call that I was just on?
Wow. Now I'm really worried. What call did I miss?
No, I wouldn't say stuck. Michael was there. I don't know if anyone else here was on that call as well, but no, it was really interesting. I mean, it was some of the biggest, most powerful people in the touring business and production managers, tour managers. Michael could certainly tell you more about it. Michael pulled most of them together and us. And so, I mean, anyone here who was part of what we did knows how much of a bitter battle we were in with NEVA. So the head of NEVA was on there. The head of NITO was on there. The head of Live Events Coalition was on there. So it was an attempt to pull all these different sort of factions together, of which I guess we're one with the We Make Events US thing. So yeah, it was just interesting. I mean, they're just kind of going, hey, what can we do together? And it was just an exploratory call, but it was kind of interesting. It was fun. Another thing, and I don't know if we have any Canadians on here yet, that I know we do have some Canadians on here, but anyone who was involved in and I forget what their event was called last night, I apologize, but they had a Light Up Red event in Canada last night. And I actually enjoyed going through Facebook. They did something unique where, and you can actually, I'll give you the hashtag in a bit. If anyone knows it, just interrupt me and say it. But one of the cool things they did was every person could go on their Facebook page and they held up a card that basically said, "Hi, my name is Bob Smith, and I am a pyrotechnician, Light Up Live." There was another one too. We make entertainment, or we create entertainment, or something like that.
We build entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically kind of a spin-off of We Make Events. So we build entertainment. But if you just put that into Facebook, you can see all their stuff. Anyways, they hold up these cards that say, "My name is, here's what I do. I've been out of work since March 12th. You know, and then it had some hashtags and stuff. And it was just really cool going through all of those stories and reading people's stories and hearing how they've managed to get through it and stuff. So I actually went down a rabbit hole, and I was there for, I don't know, I happened to wake up at 3:30 this morning. So I think I ended up spending an hour on this thing at 4 o'clock in the morning or something. And really interesting. One of the other,
I was going to say, really interesting to hear what you're saying about the call bringing people together, because there are so many factions, you know, and I think this whole sort of really wrestling with trying to keep the message clear, consistent. You know, here we are as an invisible industry. We've always hidden backstage. We're really good at keeping out of everyone's sight. And suddenly, I mean, there's something like in total, there's 52 different associations and
it's so funny, Steve, because that's what I ended their call with. That's the statement that I made. I said, if you want any success at all, you have to have one unified message. You have to have a very clear and concise goal. And you need to know when you've won, basically. That goal has to be very clearly defined, saying we want to raise X amount of capital, and then a plan to get to that. So, no, I completely agree. Is Herrick on here yet? Because I actually wanted to call out Herrick for something kind of funny. He's here.
You know,
the one time I get to bust on him and he's not here.
Give him a chance.
And I suppose it's just in my mind, because we were talking about missing the call, and I'll stop talking in a minute. But the reason I sort of missed the whole rest of my afternoon, even though you think I was already sort of freaking out about the stuff I wasn't going to get done, is a friend called. Obviously, we've got our global day. We've got a global event on the 30th, where we're going to do this countdown between countries and do something similar to where you have the live stream, share it, do a country by country event. Anyway, the people in Brighton have got this great tower. It's like 50 meters, I don't know, like 170 feet tall. And they do DJ shows up there. Fatboy Slim has done shows up there, loads of other sort of notable DJs. So it's quite a sort of, it's a cool venue, and it's a really sort of iconic standing out place. But if you try and do a piece of text down a tower, you know, you're quite restricted into what you can say. And suddenly, as you look at trying to get this, as I say, this messaging out, keeping it clear and consistent without upsetting all the different groups that are involved underneath it, you know, it's sort of really at the forefront of my mind. So I think you're right. And a lot of, you know, might be upset that the success of your campaign has put you clearly, you know, as the umbrella organization. And I think the same with We Make Events in the UK. And we need to really keep focused on keeping that as the main message and sort of source.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. So the reason I wanted to mention Herrick, who's not here this week, but so while I was being an insomniac last night, I saw a post from some poor young guy who said, I bought some I bought some DMX fixtures, and I have my laptop with some, you know, bandit dongle, not bandit lights, but some like, you know, counterfeit dongle or something. And for some reason, none of the fixtures are working. So he's got like one DMX LED par from one Chinese company, and then another DMX moving light from another company, another Chinese unknown manufacturer, and then some other, like he's got all these weird broken down used lights, and he's asking a very generic question: why won't my laptop talk to them? And if Ellen is here, I know Ellen was there because she kept jumping in and going, oh, come on guys, just answer him. And they were trying to answer him, but the guy was just like, basically, why aren't they working? Well, do you have it patched? What's a patch? And, you know, okay, so go to one light, just take one light, get that one to work. Well, no, because I've got the whole thing connected already. And I mean, it was just like, no matter what anybody answered him, he didn't want to hear the answer. And so then they just started saying, use butter, or like they just started throwing out all the crazy, silly answers. And it was quite entertaining, but I really did feel bad for the guy. I should have invited him on the call, and we should have all explained to him how to connect his lights, had him show us his lights on the video.
So what did that have to do
him.
with Herrick?
Well, Herrick was the one.
Eric was one of the ones busting on him.
The guy said, "Somebody help me." He started out by saying,
"Finish the story, Marcel."
He started out by saying, "Can somebody help me?" And Herrick was like, "No." And then there was this big conversation about, "You don't even know about DMX. You only know about AMX." And somebody goes, "AMX? Oh my God, AMX! Remember that?" And
Yeah,
like,
you can't count to 512. Somebody said, "Yeah." I mean, it went down a crazy path, and there ended up being 200 comments. None of them told the guy how to fix his problem, because honestly, like, everyone just kept saying, get a manual for each light, get a manual for whatever software you're using, and figure it out from there. Vicky, I know you're losing your mind over this, because you've probably had people in some of your classes who are the same. Somebody said buy an MA3 console and go to ACT lighting school or whatever, ACT Grand MA school.
Yeah, I saw that exchange, and he just wasn't providing any information.
No, he wasn't asking the right questions, and then he wasn't listening when very qualified people were giving him advice. I mean, when you've got guys and girls who make, however much money in this industry for God knows how many years, and then you don't listen to them when they're trying to advise you, and he's probably a 19-year-old kid or something.
Millennials.
I mean, I felt bad for him, but I also, sorry?
He was posting in a group somewhere?
Everything stage lighting.
Everything stage lighting group.
Yeah. Oh, you saw it too, Chris? I didn't see you busting on him.
I wasn't getting in the middle of that.
It's unlike you.
Chris picks his battles.
I'm not, somebody posts something like that, I'm usually like, oh, just avoid that.
Well, then there were a few guys who were saying, okay, no problem. I happen to be available, $100 an hour. I'll come over and hook up your Chinese lights for you. Right. But, he's like, oh no, when he really screwed up was when he said, where I live, there's nobody except a bunch of trashy garbage wedding DJs who don't even know their ass from a hole in the ground and stuff, right? And somebody said, oh, where do you live? He said, Buffalo. Oh, like there's no qualified lighting people in Buffalo, for real? Come on now. I mean, so then they got really belligerent.
Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of lighting guys in Buffalo.
I'm not going to hire him.
Hey, one of the other things I wanted to mention about this thing from Canada last night was when everybody held up the cards with, how long they've been out of work and what their role is and all this stuff. I was blown away by how many women are in the business in Canada. I mean, I was super impressed by this. And, all I can say is we have a few women on this call every week, but Canada blows us away as far as their diversity when it comes to the mix of men and women. Here. Oh, it's unreal. I mean, I can't believe how many female roadies there are in Canada. It's incredible.
Marcia, let's pack the call next week. We know something.
I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. I mean, go ahead. But no, I mean, I was very, very impressed by that. I thought it was really cool. I was thinking, why don't we have more women in the business here in the US when Canada, I mean, I would say, and I'd hate to think that it's something horrible, like those are the ones that are out of work. All the men are still working and the women are the ones holding up the signs saying, please help me. I don't think that's the case, but that would really suck if I just exposed that kind of dastardly thing.
Hey, Marcel, back before the September 1st thing, I did one of those We Make events asking people to send a letter in, and so I could make a collage. And with one exception, the rest were all women. And I don't know this to be the case, but I think women are a bit more motivated to somehow participate in things like that. That was just.
Are you saying men are stubborn?
Well, I think men
Lazy?
no, I think they just may go, oh, that's kind of silly. I don't want to do it. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my thinking too. It's like, well, I know there's a lot of guys out there, but we really only had one guy that participated.
Yeah, I think definitely with the sign holding thing that probably, some guys would shy away from writing their sorrows on a card. It's not very,
Well, women leave their shoes in the hallway, outside the bunks. So there's been that.
I don't even know what that means, John.
And you trip on it. You trip on it every time you walk down the bus.
Totally, dude. I mean, put your damn shoes away.
For those that don't concert tour, that's the problem. You never leave your shoes in that aisleway. It's one of the written rules. You don't shit on the bus. You don't leave your shoes there. You don't fall asleep.
Yeah,
in front.
you don't poop.
That's how
You
it
don't
works.
poop in the bathroom. That's the one that always I think of. You don't poop in the bathroom.
The one thing
Hey,
that,
Patrick.
that I hate is when people put their shoes in the water drawer in the front lounge. It's like, this is not the shoe
That
drawer.
shit
it's the
ain't right,
water
man.
drawer.
That's excommunicable. That's not
Patrick.
even. He gets
We
thrown
had a
off the
driver-
bus like that.
We had a driver once that threw the shoes out the door if you left them in the hallway.
I've done that. I threw Dirk Sanders' shoes in the middle of Milwaukee somewhere on a highway. They're fucking gone.
It happened every time somebody
Fourth
tripped
time.
on it. They were gone.
Fourth time I
Gone.
tripped on it, I said, that's it. They're out of here.
They're
He
gone.
woke up. He was barefoot. He was totally fucked.
You can
Never
tell
did
I've
it again,
not-
though.
You
If we're
can
talking
tell I've
about
not
bus
really
etiquette,
spent any time on a bus. Hey,
Yeah.
folks, I want to interrupt you just for a moment because I know Michael's had a long day of talking with lots and lots of people, and I would like him to have an opportunity to give us an update real quick and then to probably sleep or rest his voice or something. By the way, Michael, I'd like to hear the story of how you lost teeth. Did you get in a fight with Nancy Pelosi or something and she got you one?
Again?
Thank you, Marcel. No, I lost these teeth in 1974 on an Alice Cooper tour.
Oh, well, that explains it.
I've had
So
them put
metal.
in and out several times. If I sound funny, it's because I've got a what they call a flipper in my mouth. If I took the tooth out, I would really look like I'm from Tennessee.
And it was the last time that Mike ever left his shoes in the center aisle of Alice Cooper's bus.
Yep, and that was it. That was it.
And there we go.
But anyway, thank you
That's
all very
funny.
much. I want to give you a quick update. I sent that email out last Friday, I think, basically trying to bolster the troops because there is a whole lot of fatigue within our industry. And I understand the fatigue. I get it. This is a process. If you remember 6-8 weeks ago, I sent you kind of a script of what they were going to go through. Well, to date, they've stuck to that script. We're up to the 1.5 billion mark, and they've got to both come together to the 1.75 billion mark. I can't tell you that they're going to do that, but I can't tell you that they're not. And again, I've urged you all along, please do not listen to the news or the media. There's a whole lot of political posturing, and the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg put a whole nother layer on it. The good news is that yesterday, surprisingly, they passed the continuing resolution which funds the government to the end of the year. So that's off the table. All that's in front of them now is being reelected, honoring Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and relief. And the relief, as I've always told you, is bigger than just us. It's bigger than small business. There's money for schools. There's money for vaccination. There's enhanced unemployment. There's $1,200 per person in the United States. So all those things are still there. Both sides of the aisle are still very, very fractured between leadership and rank and file. Leadership is getting an extraordinary amount of pressure from rank and file. I know that because I'm talking every day to a lot of senators, a lot of Congress people, and a lot of their staff. And there is pressure both sides of the aisle, again, to get leadership to do this. The special discharge petition that the House put forth, which I sent you an email about, basically takes a particular subject away from the leadership of the House and puts it within the body of the House. And that's got bipartisan support. There were 25 people from both sides of the aisle that filed that petition to take it away from the leadership. all they're focusing on is an additional round of PPP. But that really is just a lever, I believe, as do most people, to force leadership, both sides of the aisle, to come back to the table and talk. They have begun talking. Again, you're not going to hear about them talking because Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is laying in state, and any kind of an overt conversation could and would be perceived as unkind to her memory. So, but this stuff is going on underground. This stuff is happening. And they are working toward that magic 1.75. Nothing's changed in that. No one really knows what will be in there for small business. It does feel like at least it will be another round of PPP, just like you got before, which for some people is a help, but for most people is nothing more than a Band-Aid. So as we go forward, please don't give up. Please continue to answer the call to actions. Two things are going to happen in the next 3 days. Sometime midday tomorrow, you will all receive the email from me, and this will be dropped wider than me. We're doing another official letter from NAM. NAM is dropping a letter. We're writing it now, going to the president and the leadership. Very focused letter saying basically, for goodness sakes, pass a relief bill and make sure it has restart language in it. I inform you of this because the power of a NAM letter far exceeds anything else that we do. As I've told you before, NAM is a known quantity on the Hill. Remember, 2 years ago, they got $1.4 billion in funding for music education. So when the NAM letter drops, they listen above all else. So that's going to happen tomorrow, probably midday. There's nothing that you need to do. I will just send you a copy of the NAM letter. If you haven't reacted to the last NAM call to action, please do. The second thing that will happen probably Thursday is what I told you about last week. I'm going to send you that very offensive email where each of you will be emailing all 200 legislative directors and chiefs of staff, which means I will be the singular most hated man in America by the Congress because they're going to get blown up by several thousand emails. But it's just time to do that because the power is in what we do. And again, I urge you, do not give up. Don't listen to what you're hearing. There is still phenomenal pressure from the 435 House members and the 35 senators that face re-election. They almost to the man or woman, they know that if no relief bill is passed by the end of the month, it will negatively impact their chances of being re-elected. So again, cling to that. And I'll close by telling you what I told you in the last letter. I had tried not to put it in writing, but you're right. They don't care. You know, I hate to say that, but they don't care. They just want to get re-elected. And I don't mean that rude and I don't mean that ugly, but being re-elected is the first thing on their mind. They have tens of thousands of requests and we're just one of them. The good news is that we're a big entity. And as we move forward, they know that we need relief. There is a chance that this will move past, you know, I sent you that calendar. There is a chance this could move into mid-October. And again, I know that for many people, mid-October is too late because I talk to all of you on a daily, or many of you on a daily basis. But something is going to happen, I assure you. In its smallest form, it will be another round of PPP. In its grandest form, it will be the restart bill that you have read. But they are going to have to do something because they know that our entire industry, as well as a lot of other industries, just simply won't survive into the new year without another round of funding. So don't get lost in everything else and stay focused. Now, are there any questions?
First of all, Michael, thank you as always. But one thing, I mean, I know how I felt when I read it, but did it piss you off when you read how quickly they solved the government problem, you know, to refund the government? You know, boom, that's just taken care of. Here you go. Now, I know government shutdowns are painful and costly and all of those things, but it just seems like that they can get together on pretty quickly, but everyone else's needs, not so much. It's a bit frustrating.
Yeah.
Michael, I have a question for you. Is there any conversation happening about the airline PSP program that ends, it's got a hard end at the end of this month, which potentially, I don't know if it's 50,000 or 100,000 layoffs starting, the first week of October. Is there talk of a clean bill for that?
Yeah, that's a great question, David. And yes, there is. And I'd bet everything I own that it's going to get done. But bear in mind, that's not a grant. That's a loan. That's a loan against equity in the airlines. And it just simply has to be done to keep the airlines from furloughing everybody. And yeah, that's going to get done. That's the only thing laying out there that will be done as a clean bill, as a standalone bill. I told you all in another email, the Restaurant Association had a $120 billion bill with a fair amount of support before the Congress. They gave up on it 10 days ago because they realized it's not going to pass because it's that's picking winners and losers. But the auto industry and the airline industry will always be outliers in that they will be taken care of, whatever we may think of it.
So you don't think that they would try to tie that in or try to bring PPP into that? Is there a discussion, or is it really just an outlier?
Not as I'm told, not at all. And again, Stephanie Freed, I don't believe is on here. She runs the Extend PUA program, which is a phenomenal program. And I have told Stephanie every time I speak to her, I know she's tired of hearing it, but we're probably 10% of the people that are pushing for extended unemployment, enhanced unemployment. There's a phenomenal amount of push for that in all sectors. And again, there's phenomenal support at $600 a week, retroactive to when it expired and up to the end of the year. I do believe at some point they will make that happen. But that will be wrapped into whatever they do.
Hey, Michael, do you believe that they would retroactive do that up until end of like when it expired? Because there was that lost wage assistance that came out of the FEMA fund. That's what I'm hearing. As you know, Matt, the situation that occurred was when the president, by executive order, extended it at $300 a week, which, did he have the right to do it? Yeah, there's a mechanism, but they were supposed to go back and clean it up and do it legislatively and make it retroactive. And that's all in the hopper, but it's all gotten lost because nothing's passed. And again, I go back right now to the special discharge petition. That was filed, as I told you, about I don't know, last week or something. Then it all kind of went away when RBG passed away. Well, it came back alive this morning. And again, the people that are afraid of not getting reelected are really using that lever to get leadership back to the table. I also heard something about the airlines that I think Delta or United is not going to furlough until the end of October now.
Yeah.
They're extending it for an additional month. So that's good news, question mark. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to give legislation, the legislators a bit more time.
They're being told under the table that they will get this further loan.
Got it.
Matt, did you not get the $300 a week retro in New York?
No, I did. I actually, so it's very strange. So now I got an email saying we got approved for the additional 3 weeks, so a total of 6 weeks. But what they're doing is the first time I got it all on a Friday for the first 3 weeks. So it was 3 deposits on the same day. Now they're kind of chunking it out. So I got 1 today. I'm supposed to get 1 tomorrow and then 1 on Friday.
Yeah, here in California, the girls just got it and they retroed it because they're both working now back full time. They just got retroed from last week.
It was retro. Yeah. It was retro 6 weeks at $300, but again, after taxes come out, it's like $200 and something. So it's like,
And here in California, they closed EDD until the end of the month because of all the fraud that they found.
What's EDD?
That's our unemployment development.
Got it.
Unemployment.
Got it.
Every
'Cause it
state
would-
has to have a different name for that. We're DEO down here. It's ridiculous.
There's one other piece to the legislation that's not often talked about. For those of you that did receive PPP, is the Treasury wrote and rewrote the regulations as it sits right now. When you pay your income taxes next year, the money you received in form of PPP will be taxable income, the way it sits right now. Across the board, I'm being assured, both sides of the aisle, that they're going to go back and clean that up at some point, and make it a non-taxable income event. So that conversation is going. And something else that you all don't know, I've said this before, there's a whole lot going on that you don't know about. Some of you do, because I'm working with some of you on this phone call, like Dave O and different people on here. We've got, as I said last week, a whole lot of little individual things that are going on where each one of you's had a relationship with a legislator or a situation, and you've made me aware of it, and it's led to something. And one of them that occurred yesterday was one of you led me to a thought that I didn't have. I'm on the board at the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Well, I talk to all the big folks in the world of women's basketball regularly. So guess who I reached out to this morning? Kelly Loeffler, the senator from Georgia, who owns the WNBA team. So now I've got a dialogue with Kelly, and I'm trying to push her to support Restart. So there's all kinds of weird stuff like that. We had a series of meetings this week that I was involved in setting up with a number of different senators and or House members. Some have signed, some have not signed, some have said they're going to sign. So again, there's a lot of stuff that goes on that you just don't hear about, to continue to push this in the right direction. And many of you on this call, or some of you, are involved in these efforts. And for that, I say thank you. And I'll go back again. I see Ellen on there. She's been fantastic. All of the media has been fantastic. None of this would be possible without the media coverage that we've received.
Michael, what about EIDL? Any word on that?
From what point of view?
Well, are we actually going to get the full 10,000 we were promised on the original inception of the bill? Are they going to forgive up to a certain amount? That's kind of fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, it absolutely has. The only, originally you could theoretically could have gotten $2 million from EIDL, and then it fell down to 150,000 at a maximum. I don't believe they're going to move it up from there. I do think the forgiveness will come, but I don't think they're going to deal with the forgiveness on that until Q1 of next year, because there's so much else on their plate. But no, I don't think they're going to go back and re-energize the program. As I said last week, the big thing in front of them is that still $595 billion sitting in the Main Street lending program. But again, that's a next year thing. They're not going to deal with that this year. I do believe by March of next year, they're going to free up that $600 billion for other things, and some of it will come small businesses' way.
What happened?
I don't know.
Everyone went silent.
Yeah, Michael, for that tax thing for the $600 per week, here in California, you have the option to be able to take out your taxes, state and federal. They have that little click button. So the girls did it, so hopefully they won't get rammed at the end.
No, I did the same thing, Chris.
Florida too.
My advice to anybody is pay the tax now.
Yeah. Oh, Michael, just one more thing on the EIDL. Do you think they're going to give us the full 10,000? Have you heard any conversations about that?
You mean via forgiveness?
No, so originally we were supposed to get a $10,000 grant when you
the front end part. Yeah. Yes, I do. I'm sorry. That's where I'm thinking
Sorry.
150,000.
No.
Yeah, no, they said that, but they haven't done that.
Okay. Well, it's just it was in the law, and then the SBA decided to just cut it down to 1,000 per person. So I was wondering if that was going to be retroactive on the
They
EIDL
said yes,
as
but
well.
they're not even talking about that right now.
Got it.
And that whole payroll tax forgiveness thing that was put forth in sort of kind of an executive order, that's all just dissipated. And again, I would urge anybody that was offered the opportunity to not pay the tax now to go ahead and pay the tax now, because you don't want to get to January, February, and it isn't forgiven and you're in a trap.
Yeah. Anyone else have any questions before Michael, before he has to run out?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Not a question,
thanks.
just a thank you for keeping us in the loop and for advocating for us. I'm so annoyed at the dances that have to be done, but you're like, you know, the Lawrence Welk for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Clearly, you
quite
have a
picture
future
that.
in Washington lobbying if you want.
No. I want to do rock and roll.
Had enough of that, eh?
Again, I
Thanks,
can't
Michael.
thank all of you enough for what you're doing. And I know I sound like a broken record, but this only works because you all keep reaching out. And again, I'll close it as I started. I know that it feels repetitive. I know that it's tiresome. I know that it doesn't at times seem like it matters, but it does. And tomorrow the NAM letter will be big. And then when I send all of you that blind copy email thing to go to all the senators, I'll have to turn my phone off after that. But we will at least make a final push to the people that matter to do something.
Yeah.
I might have to move to Canada.
Next question.
Yeah, Marcel didn't want to move back up there. Why would?
No, it's got nothing to do with that. Canada's a beautiful country, but they have their own series of problems. Trust me.
I'm sure they do.
Think we can get enough people to write in on the ballots to get Michael elected?
I'll do it.
Problem is, does
He-
Michael want to be elected?
No, but the other thing is Michael would turn into a douchebag if he became a government guy. Like right now he's nice because he's on our team. But if he got voted in by them, he'd become a douchebag. It just happens. You know,
That's
you
the
have a
whole point of
license.
voting the
You have a
douchebag out
license
of
for
office.
douchery. You have a license. Yeah. So what? The other douchebag can get in? I mean,
No,
you're
get
assuming
new
the other
nah,
douchebag's better than this douchebag. They're both
Well,
douchebags.
How about if we all try to get rid of the douchebags and start a new precedent that like no
Good luck
douchebags
on that
get in?
one.
I'm in.
Good luck on that one.
Well, you
Where
know,
does that come
Wait,
from?
how does that work for me? I'm a shoo-in then, right?
yes, absolutely.
Why? Because you're the biggest douchebag on the call?
Pre-douche, yeah. I'm going right in there.
Hey, Patrick,
Old douche.
did you see the guy that was tattooed from head to toe and they didn't want him to teach elementary school anymore?
They didn't want him to what?
The guy was
Teach elementary
tattooed
school.
head to toe, including his entire face.
Yeah.
And they asked him to step down from his job teaching elementary school.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Well, face tattoos are a little scary, I gotta say.
I think the kids
You know,
maybe-
I might, if I had my kid go into elementary school and you know, teacher, you know, Mr. Bob or whatever his name is, had face tattoos, I might be a little bit worried. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, it's in some instances, it's starting to become a bit of discrimination in the West. It's always been a bit of discrimination in the East. I've had been denied the ability to like go into gyms and stuff in certain hotels in Asia because of it. Japan just recently legalized tattooing. It's been illegal, and that's one of the things. You're tatted up the way I am now. You know, you're looked at as being a
Yakuza. You're looked at as Yakuza.
yeah, very much so.
Who was it? It was Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee was at the like Palm Beach. Was it the tennis and bath or something, like some Palm Beach fancy club thing on Palm Beach Island, and they wouldn't let him in because of tattoos.
Yeah.
So
there's definitely some
Yeah,
discriminatory.
but that's kind of old school hoity-toity. The Palm
it
Beach
is,
bath
of course it
tennis.
is. Yeah, yeah, of course it is.
Kind of snooty, snobby.
But particularly if
Snooty,
you,
snobby.
you know, if you're in a service industry side of things as a worker, you know, you're even still here in Vegas, you know, the valets, anybody working in a casino, you still have to cover up your tattoos. So you'll see guys having, you know, those sports sleeves on and stuff, even if they have short sleeve shirts on.
For many years.
By the way, by ballet he means strip club.
Valet.
Oh, I thought you said ballet.
No. No, the guys in short sleeve shirts at the ballet are a little different.
Yeah.
Didn't many years, at least in New York City, the police have restrictions about tattoos that went below your wrist or above your neckline?
Yeah, very much so. And the military actually still has that. There's been a slight easing of it over the last 4 years. But for a minute there, they had shut down anybody coming in that had an exposed tattoo on the hands or above the neckline.
Those were always my dating restrictions as well.
Is that a cutoff mark of?
Yeah, above the neck and below the hands.
The girl with the tattoo, it was on her neck, and she was quite, hip.
Who's that?
Girl with the dragon tattoo. You didn't read the book?
No.
Oh
that's correct, Ellen.
Reading requires free time and patience, and I don't have either one of those.
Oh, well, they were
now, so.
movies too. And then the guy died, and it was quite a huge story. Anyway.
Wasn't it before Netflix too?
Probably.
Does anyone else have anything for Michael? Because he's sitting here going, God, I got to get to my next Zoom call.
He's not going to show us his tattoo.
And we're talking about neck tattoos and face tattoos and stuff.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you all very much. Hopefully this time next week we'll have some good news. But again, I sent you that schedule. If this thing drags on beyond the 30th, again, don't give up. That schedule I sent you shows you how long this darn thing could drag on. But the fact that they got the continuing resolution done, really, aside from honoring Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it's the relief bill, and everything else is cleared off the table. So let's keep pushing them, and thank you for what you do, and I will talk to you all later, and feel free to reach out if you've got questions or comments.
Thanks.
Thank you, buddy.
Good one, Michael.
Thanks, man.
Take care of yourself.
Bye, Michael.
Thanks.
Thank you, Michael.
Bye, Mike. Thank you.
Now, can we talk about Patrick Dearson's wife beater?
No, why? It's the same as his wife beater last week and the one the week before that.
I've been in wife beaters on just about all my client calls because my calls have been starting at 8 a.m. So I've been going from the gym.
I thought it was because you couldn't afford air conditioning anymore.
No. We can still we got our initial loan. In fact, I didn't pay anybody. I just laid everybody off just so I could sit here and be nice and cool. So we've used all that PPP for utility bills.
Patrick is the only person that ever did a live design master class in his bathrobe in a hotel. What city were you in?
I was in Sydney when we did that.
That was you too, right? You were there on you. Were you there for you too?
Yeah. Because that was actually supposed to be the real gag, and because I was out with Willie Williams on U2, and inevitably there was going to be questions about the U2 show as opposed to everything else, and it was going to be the gag was someone was going to ask me about the U2, the inevitable question. I was simply going to spin the camera around and go, "Why don't you ask the designer?" and have Willie laying in my bed to answer the question, and he was just unwilling to get up that early in the morning to do the gag.
It was really early in the sunrise. It was really quite something.
I'm not sure I get it, but I'm a little bit uncomfortable.
I felt totally overdressed, Patrick.
Marcel, you need to tour.
Just saying.
Yes,
I'm going to mute.
at least unbutton the top button. Come on.
So the background to the story was that I was supposed to do I think it was the first ever concert master classes, right, Jeff? You were.
That's right. It was 2010.
In between the time that I had agreed to be on that and the actual event, we had a tour pop up and I had to go out on it. And I said, listen, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be in Australia at that time, but I will make the commitment to dealing with the time zone change. And so I was taking the call at like 5 o'clock.
It was Skype, right? We Skyped you in.
Skyped in.
Yeah, it worked great, but it was above and beyond the Call of Duty for sure.
Well, I was in my robe. Wasn't getting dressed up for you guys.
It was okay. That was funny.
No, it was the preliminary to these Zoom calls. I like to look at it.
Exactly.
Primitive technology, Skype.
Well, I heard that I didn't watch all of the Emmys. Everybody watched the Emmys the other night. They were sort of half and half, like a really hybrid thing. I didn't get the joke about the alpaca for a minute. And apparently some guy walked out in his underwear thinking that they weren't going to see entire body. He did. Oh.
Remember that.
What made the morning shows on Monday was the guy who didn't get the Emmy and the presenter in the hazmat suit that kind of walked away and waved and was like, "Not for you today, bye."
Well,
That made all of the news clips.
Talking to Bob Barnhart about it today, who was going in for surgery, shoulder surgery, rotator cuff today. And we were talking about how in some of the categories, like they do the creative Emmys first, and in like lighting for an awards show, there were like 5 nominees. 4 were Bob Dickinson and 1 was Bob Barnhart. So we were saying like maybe there should just be one, like each designer should get 1 nomination to open the field a little broader and get some more people in there.
I'm sure none of them would agree with you on that one.
Well, Bob Barnhart did because, you know, it's like the same people win every year. And it's the same thing with the Coy Awards. So we tried to like broaden it out by having different size venues and different budgets so that Broadway's not always going to be up against, you know,
I look forward to you having that conversation with Bob Dickinson. I'm sure he'll be a completely fucking human being.
Well, he wasn't happy, but he had 4 of the 5 nominations and Barnhart got the Emmy.
Oh, perfect.
Thank God.
That was Gisman.
I have a very important question. I have a really important question. Can somebody give me like a 30-second what is Social Dilemma about? Because I don't know if I want to invest the time in watching it, but I need somebody to tell me what it's about so I know if I want to watch it or not.
It's absolutely worth watching. It gives a very, I should say, somewhat objective view of the somewhat, I don't want to say nefarious side of social media, but the part that is completely unregulated that they are allowed to do and what they do with that.
The manipulation and
targeting of advertising and
which is one part of it. The other part, which I believe is more of the real social problem, is that it explains the younger generation, and of course it affects the older generation, but more so now we have a full generation of children that have grown up in the world of social media, and it explains how it affects their psyche from a chemical level and what the rewards are for the interactions that they have, and trying to wean them off of that. And it gives some absolutely staggering statistics on the rise of social media in direct relation to the rise of suicide rates in children as they come up. And it's definitely worth watching just for the information.
And on that same vein, I've just been listening to, and I almost finished it, but I got busy. But I've been listening to a book called Irresistible, and I don't know if any of you have read or heard that book, but it's about addictions, and more specifically, it's about addictions to social media and to phones and to technology and all of those things, which my son is a 16-year-old kid who's very much addicted, but also just, you know, regular people. Most of us fall into addiction when you look at some of the things that it uses to describe what is addiction. You know, if you do this versus this, you have a problem with addiction. But you know, it's a very good book that I would recommend to anybody. It's called Irresistible.
And
I'd tell you the name of the author, but my phone just decided it needs to reboot. So I can't tell
I was
you.
amazed at how many people, because I had personally taken off of social media for the month of July for a part of a social thing, and it was encouraging others to do it. I was really amazed at how many people flat out messaged me saying, "There's no way in hell I could do that for a month." Like grown men, just
Really
incapable of doing it. And I was really amazed. And I think that part of the, particularly in our business, a part of the addiction to it is that feeling of relevance and, understanding that or the fear of being out of sight, out of mind in the eyes of producers and clients and those that would hire you. And I think that plays a heavy role certainly in our generation, looking at it in a very different way. But I was really surprised at how many people in our industry that under normal circumstances are rational adults that just flat out goes, absolutely not. There's no way I can't, it's a drug I'm not willing to give up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I mean, this book is Adam Alter is the guy's name, the guy who wrote it. Again, very, very good book. I think I heard about it on a podcast, Joe Rogan or something. But yeah, I mean, it's all about that needing to be liked, needing the little likes on all of your posts and, just going down those rabbit holes and stuff. I don't know. It's a good book.
Oh, but it's also a sense of community. I mean, when it comes down to it, certainly from a Judaism perspective, and happy holidays to everyone, Facebook is a sense of community. It's just a matter of having a group of people around you. Jews, we go to temple. Well, I don't. We go to temple on Friday night to be around our community. And I think that the social media, yeah, well, I did a long time ago, but I think that it's more a sense of community. We all know that we can see each other on the Facebook or on the Instagram, and we choose to see what we want to.
But that doesn't always work out though, David. And I can tell you that only because I'm a semi-conservative. And so my community ain't so good right now. They all hate me. And
that's why there's an unfriend button.
No, but I would never unfriend anyone for thinking different than I do, whether it's on race or religion or sex or politics, or especially politics or anything else, I mean, except hate. If you're just nasty and rude and you hate me and I hate you, guess what? We're not going to be friends for very long, but everything else is okay.
But we're adults. And, I have a granddaughter who's 28 years old, who obviously grew up, her adolescence and all was the beginning of all of this. And it's very hard for them because they look and they see other people talking and they feel left out. And they see other people at a party and they weren't there. And they don't have they're 15, they're 18, they're 21, their boyfriend just broke up with them. They don't have the adult reaction to this. They're like, oh my God, I'm all by myself again on Saturday night. Why are all those people, it's that, fear of missing out or whatever they call it.
Well, I mean, anybody who struggles with that at all, I would definitely tell you to listen to this book or read this book. It's a very, very good book. And it starts with talking about addictions to, first of all, I mean, the whole premise of the book is that these companies are creating these products to get you addicted. No different than sugar or heroin or cocaine or cigarettes or any of the other addictions. These people who are creating Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat, they are creating these products to get people addicted, especially young kids, and to get you so that you need it. It's a part of your, everything. Like
that's what they talked about in The Social Dilemma, where it's the psychological manipulation. And they
hell yeah.
They had huge seminars that were widely attended by all of the Silicon Valley VCs and anybody who had this AI technology. That's exactly what they were trying to work on. I mean, and it goes, if you look at before technology time, you can look at sales techniques and those kinds of things, because there wasn't much of a difference between what the snake oil salesman was doing in manipulating his crowd from the back of a horse and buggy to what they're doing now. It's just the medium, the way that we're doing it is different, or the way it's being thrust upon us is different.
Yeah, one of the biggest issues being that there's very little regulation to that. There is no oversight that's really clamping down on that. because quite frankly, it's big business at a level that's never really been seen before. So you can't really put the genie back in the bottle anymore.
And the movie also makes the point that you are indeed the product, not the client. When the advertisers are.
Oh,
really
hell yeah.
You know,
100%.
And that's an
100%.
age-old business saying is if you're not paying for it, then you're the product.
You're the product. Yep, I agree.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
What's really serious, like if I send you an email, Marcel, that says, look at this great hotel, would be great for one of your golf outings. 15 minutes later, I get an ad for it. I mean, they're in your soup. It's kind of scary.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that most people don't understand with all of your digital technology is how much you actually give away your rights and what you're allowing to happen by not reading that fine print and not having an option. It's an all or nothing kind of thing. When you join Facebook,
I think it's more the option, Patrick. I mean, they've got you by the balls, so to speak. If you want to use X, Y, and Z, you either have to accept or not. And you reject it, if you don't get it, it's that simple.
But this has happened forever. Like if you think back to, Marcia, when we were kids watching television and you had to see Tide commercials 1,000 times, you couldn't just, go past them in TiVo or DVR, or you couldn't just go to HBO where there was no commercials.
Absolutely.
Now you have choices. You pay for things, and then you don't have to. So people complain that Facebook has ads or Instagram has ads or whatever.
Well, Marcel, even when you don't pay for it, technology has changed the way we live in the world. The premise of advertising and having to make it through the ads, whether it was the Winston Man and the Marlboro Man selling cigarettes when we were kids, or whether it's the bullshit that's on right now.
Right.
I mean, it's still there. We just have more choice. The thing, and that's something that we can't do anything about unless you want to pay for a service and then you eliminate the ad.
Don't do
anything. I think what Patrick's talking about and what I'm talking about is the disclaimer of the fine print. Read it. Read all the fine print. There's something you don't agree with, you don't get to use the service. It's that simple. You either agree with it or you don't.
Diana, DuckDuckGo, what is that? I've heard of it. What is it?
They started advertising that because Google gobbles down your information and then resells it to everyone and then uses it to manipulate you. If you prefer something like DuckDuckGo, there are some annoying things that you've gotten used to with Google.
What is it? It's a search engine?
Yeah, it's a search engine replacement on my iOS device, but it's a plug-in for my Chrome or whatever, or Safari or whatever.
Right.
And what it'll do is it'll really prevent tracking. Unfortunately, I can't use Google Maps because I've saved all of my stuff. So then I have to go to Google Maps separately, because if I just, you know how you normally type something in and Maps just pops up and you're used to it being Google Maps. It has an alternative version of some of these things, and it does protect you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I could say about Google is, as much as I used to think they were so incredible because they created all these products for free and they took things that we used to pay for and they made them free and all this stuff, they are 100% evil. And I'm not saying that as someone who's a, conspiracy theorist or anything. I fought a 4-year lawsuit with Google. They stole a trademark from me, a very, very important trademark. They stole it from me, and I fought them for 4 years for my own trademark that I have hanging on my wall behind me right now. And they won because they're bigger than me and because they have a lot more money than I do and all of those things. They won because they were going to win. I mean, no matter what, they were going to win, right? It's like if a bully wants to steal your bicycle and he happens to be a 300-pound UFC fighter bully who, could crush you, he's going to get your bicycle, right? And that's how Google took it. So along the way, over these 4 years, in these different hearings that I took part in and these different motions they filed and all these things, I just went, I can't believe they're doing this. Like, I can't believe they would do this to a business and just blatantly steal from them like this. And even the settlement agreement that I finally had to sign just to get out of this deal so that they didn't, take away everything else I have in my life. Even in that, they just were such bullies. So that is an evil company. I mean, they have no good intentions. Period. And unfortunately, that's probably Facebook, that's probably Apple, that's probably Microsoft, that's probably all of those big companies.
Yeah,
All they
that
care
made
about
me
is
so
profit.
Big companies that you don't even realize. One of the most pointed things I had ever heard was about 4 years ago. I was attending a speech that Ginny Rometty of IBM was giving. At the time, she was the CEO of IBM, the 13th most powerful woman in the world. And she said, she was talking about the various technologies. She wrote the first open letter about AI, which is basically the precursor warning of we need to be very responsible about the concept of AI, because quite frankly, we joke about it, but this is how the robot war starts when you start using this stuff. And we're building computers to start this self-learning. And in her speech, she said, she was talking about location services. And she said, yeah, location services, pulls out her cell phone and is like, you know, I keep location services turned off on all my devices because I know damn well what we do with that information, and blah, blah, blah. And she just rolled on with the speech. And I stood there like, oh my God, did those words just came out of her mouth? Like, we know what we do with that information and she wouldn't even have it on? Like, that tells you everything you need to know about that shit.
I wanted to say one thing. I don't talk very often, but I'll say it really quick. I'm Angie, and I was in this business for a long time until I found the internet, and I today do technology policy for different governments and organizations. I want to let you know that I spent 15 years designing, architecting networks for some of the biggest corporations in the United States. And I can tell you that even 15 years ago, one of the things I designed was for, I won't say it, a very large retailer that let them know by cell phones what racks of apparel in their stores people stopped at, lingered, if there was a for sale sale sign, discount sign, if it was new stock or whatever, if you lingered, if you left and went back to that spot, all of that tracking throughout the retail store. So it's very sophisticated.
Amazing. Down to the rack.
That is amazing.
It is.
Yeah, that is amazing. So has anyone ever heard of a guy named Zach Voorhees? Not Jason Voorhees.
Jason's
no.
brother?
Matt, I know where you're going with this. No, Zach Voorhees is a guy who was a coder or something for Google, and he became a whistleblower, basically saying, hey, you know, Google is collecting some really bad shit on you and they're not telling you. And this is I suggest you follow this guy on Twitter or something. Zach Voorhees is a very interesting guy. I've actually had a very long telephone conversation with him while I was going through the Google lawsuit. He reached out to me and he said, I saw that you're suing Google. And I went, how do you know that? And he says, because I'm paying very close attention. And, he basically wanted me to pay him to become a witness on my side. And it was just too messy and I didn't get involved in it. But he was a very interesting guy and had a lot of really cool information on Google. So, I'm, again, not a conspiracy theorist. I know some people are. I'm not. But some of this information really is scary. And some of the shit that these big companies are doing are very scary. So for me, Facebook, it's fun. I used to use it just to post family pictures and stuff, but then I realized they were taking those family pictures and doing other things with them and finding ways to profit from it and stuff. So I'm trying to do less of that, but I don't know.
Angie just posted a very good link in the chat, by the way. Angie, you should speak up more. We didn't realize we had a bona fide smart person in the room this whole time.
Yeah, Angie's pretty smart, really. This is crazy. What the heck? Where have you been hiding? Yeah.
I'm about to give you a link for let's see.
So do you know this guy, Zach Voorhees? Have you heard of him before, or you just Googled that while I was talking?
Well, I work with, among other companies, as a consultant to Google and other
Oh, I hate your employer then. I mean, honestly, I can tell you I don't hate anyone except Google right now. I hate Google.
It's a client.
I use their product. Yeah.
It's a client, not a
Yeah. Oh,
and you've probably worked for bands that you don't like so much. So.
No, never anyone I hate. I hate Google. But again, I still pay them a couple $1,000s a month for their product. So what am I going to do?
So,
well, doesn't the question become how we utilize, if we know that this is a problem, if we know that they are using our information, isn't it upon us, especially as industry professionals, maybe we can figure out a way to utilize that in a positive as opposed to just talking about it in a negative?
Yeah, but David, it's so much deeper than that. Like, I'll give you an example. Whether you're conservative or liberal, Google, Facebook, all of these, Twitter, they all feed you exactly what fuels you. So if you're angry and you hate Trump, you're going to get all these things that tell you how much Trump is a douchebag. And it's just going to make you more angry. And, you know, it's no different than cigarette companies finding ways to make you smoke cigarettes. And this is where this whole addiction thing comes into play. And it further separates us, because if you're black, I don't mean in color, but I mean, if you're on the black side or the white side, let's divide it some other way. If you're on the left or the right, it's going to further separate you by feeding you information that you want to see and feeding you hate information that makes you fire more arrows over to this other side. They're playing us, guys. This is all I can tell you. They're playing us.
Which incidentally is nothing more than being your biggest Facebook friend. You know, when you build this series of friends on Facebook, there are very few people that have a diverse group of friends. They have a lot of like-minded friends. So you're all feeding yourselves the same information over and over again, because unless you really are spread out and open about your friendships with a lot of other people with very different mindsets, you're not really getting all of that information from anybody else. And then you've got these monoliths coming in and slamming you with that on steroids. Like, it really just blows everything up. It's wild.
Yeah.
Has anyone
it's
heard?
the only reason, sorry, Marcia, and I'll shut up.
That's okay.
But it's the reason that instead of defriending people, I just mute them. And, you know, it's because I don't dislike you. It's just, I don't want you yelling at me every day. That's all. So I mute you for 30 days to shut you the fuck up so that I can, you know, pay attention to more positive things while you yell at everyone for the next 30 days. And then in 30 days, guess what? The very first thing I see is you yelling again. So I mute you another 30 days. And November 4th or 5th, we'll all be friends again. But I won't defriend anyone for your beliefs in politics. I just won't. I refuse to. You know, it's stupid. And hopefully none of you will defriend me for that either, because I'm not hardcore.
I will say, people say some really ignorant shit on Facebook, though. Like, really ignorant, especially if you guys are on BobNet. Like, all of a sudden, all the really racist, bigoted assholes are coming out on BobNet, and it's really interesting to see.
Also, I think many people
43 days.
Many people forget what the dinner table was like when some jackass brought up religion or politics. Those were the things you were not supposed to discuss in a social setting unless you intimately knew the group of people and everybody was on board for that discussion. It was
or
just
you were watching
part of the
Archie
Emily
Bunker.
Book of Etiquette. You just didn't do that shit. But somehow social media came along and made it really easy to do that and acceptable. And people don't get punched in the face enough with it these days.
So question, people on social media, has anyone ever heard of a new platform called MeWe? And any thoughts or comments on it, please?
MeWe?
MeWe.
Sounds Chinese. I don't want to get involved in it.
I don't
Sounds
know.
like something where Pizzagate happens.
I have a couple of Facebook friends who said they're moving to MeWe, and it's apparently no ads and no this and no that, and not all of that you know, algorithm shit that is pervasive on Facebook. I don't know about other
wait
social
2 years.
media.
Oh, it will. It will, for sure.
Wait 2 years.
I just wonder if anyone else is familiar with it or has
Anything
any
free
experience.
isn't going to be free for very long. You know, they're
Well,
going to
that
be
goes
free to
without
try and
saying.
pull you away. Yeah, I mean, every
Yeah, but
one of these social networks is just looking to collect data. You know, because data is the currency that they then go spend for whatever it is they want. So, you know,
I mean, I was actually on Facebook when it first started because I was in school in Boston. It was like Harvard, BU, Emerson, like all just the Boston schools. And it
So
was
it's
great.
your fault.
Yeah, I guess so. Like
You know,
actually
just
had
let's
to have
let's
a-
all just be nice to each other. That's all. Because honestly, in our industry, I love people so much. I mean, the people in our industry are so incredible. Like even Marcia. Every once in a while, Marcia and I, who have known each other for 20 years, every once in a while,
More than
we have
that,
to
30
sort of-
years.
we have to sort of correct each other and just go, Marcia, shut the hell up. What you said wasn't very cool. And she'll go, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Or I'll have to do the same, God forbid, And I mean, I
we
really
are and have
genuinely-
been friends, and we will always be friends.
I genuinely like almost every person on here, regardless of who you're going to vote for in the next
So
few
how many
weeks.
times you muted me, Marcel?
How many times what?
Almost
on this
How many
call
times
or
have
in
you
general?
muted?
Almost.
Listen,
Almost.
Whenever I mute people, it's only because there's a dog barking in the background. Your thing is echoing. Your microphone's echoing. Like
No, I'm talking about.
Bob Williams is gone, so I can talk about him right now. But Bob Williams always leaves his mic on, and it's always echoing. So
No,
I have
I'm
to
talking
mute him.
about. I'm talking about muting me on Facebook. How many times you muted me because I was
I've
angry?
never muted you. No,
Really?
I always listen to your stupid software rants and your stupid "I'm going to be president in 4 years" rants. And
Oh, we're going,
your
baby. We're
Stupid
going.
Ford dealership rants. And no, I mean, craziness is okay by me, but it's the hatred stuff. It's the if you're going to vote for this person, then you're just an asshole. Period. Well, how is that possibly true when 50% of the nation is going to vote for this idiot and the other 50% is going to vote for this idiot? How are we all assholes? I mean, either we're all assholes or none of us are.
You know what would solve all of this? If you had some etiquette and stop fucking talking about it. Don't talk about religion and politics and go back to cats memes, which is what the internet was made for.
I want to see
But
food.
do you guys
I
all
want
remember
pictures of food?
Do you guys all remember the days when voting, like there was a curtain, you closed it, and you came out and they go, "Who'd you vote for?" And you go, "I don't know. I ain't telling you."
You can still
like,
do
why
that.
do we suddenly all have to go on friggin'
we
Facebook
can
and tell the
still
whole
do
world
that,
who we're voting
Marcel.
for and why you should vote for them, or you're an idiot, or you're an idiot, or you're an idiot if you don't vote for this person? I mean, come on, man.
Marcel,
Anyways.
people can go into closed voting booths if they choose. It's just as private as you want it to be. And we all have a choice to spew shit on social media or not. Some of us choose to spew
So
shit.
shut the fuck up then, Marcia.
I'm trying to get a word in edgewise.
I mean,
here.
seriously, just shut the fuck up, okay?
Hey,
all right.
Chris,
be
I'd just like to point
respectful,
out
man.
that Jamie hasn't muted you. He's very clear about the fact that he still follows you on Facebook.
What's he pointing at?
His
I'm
background
not sure.
shows because it's one of Chris's rants.
Hey, Chris, how much is that car worth now?
Oh my God.
It's worth nothing. Thank God I didn't buy it, huh?
They all depreciate the second you take them off the lot. I told you.
Yep. I wasn't driving it. It was the salesman, idiot.
That was an expensive.
So by the way, my Facebook is going to be overtaken by racing for the next few days because my son is racing in Sebring, Florida this weekend. So there you go.
Cool. Where's he racing? Sebring?
Sebring. Yeah.
Oh, that's some favorite.
One
Yeah.
of the bumpiest racetracks in the country.
Oh, but it's so fun. It's such a fun racetrack. Are they going to let audience in? They're going to let spectators?
No, but I mean, if you know me, I'm probably going to get you in there, right?
Are they
We'll
going to
climb
do
the
it?
fence, we'll scale the wall, we'll do something, we'll get in.
Are they going to do
Are you
infield?
on the team?
White claw in his hand.
Yeah. Are they going to do infield camping or anything?
Fuck you, Patrick. Seriously.
Are they going to do infield camping?
Did
or
I
anything?
say that out loud?
Yes.
No, they don't do infield camping for this.
No. It's too bad.
No, that's the 12-hour or 24-hour or whatever. 12-hour.
12-hour Le Mans.
Yes, sir.
So what are they doing to keep it safe? Did they say you got to park outside and walk in through
Electric vehicles only.
That's it. So electric. That's
Seatbelts.
California. Don't worry.
Seatbelt's a helmet, Hans device. Yeah, it's really safe. No, I mean, they enforce that you have to wear masks if you're, oh boy. By the way, my ex-wife's mother-in-law just passed away while I was on this call. So
oh no,
bit of a somber moment, and now her husband is trying to call me. So
give Barbara our best, you know.
Yeah, no, it's been
please,
been a tough.
please do,
It's been a tough
and Jeremy also.
Yeah, Jeremy's the one who texted me while I was on this call and told me. So.
Well, please, a big hug to Jeremy. It's horrible to lose Grandpa.
Yeah. No, I've known her. I've known her 30 years, I guess.
At least.
In 90.
At least.
Yeah, 30 years. So cheers to her name's Pat. So.
Cheers to Pat.
That's too bad.
Anyway,
I'm kind of curious. Did anyone read the USITT I guess pamphlet that came out about safe practices this week?
No, I was having sex.
Are you using protection?
Is it September?
No. You were having
September,
chicken cutlet tacos, Patrick.
Jesus.
By the way, how does Craig Caserta get away with saying the shit that he says on Facebook?
What does he
If
say?
you've met Shauna's actually even worse. She's actually
Oh my
even funnier.
God, it's so friggin' funny. The shit that he says on Facebook is so funny. If I were his wife, I'd kill him. Like literally, he wouldn't wake up in the morning.
He gets that on a
So
daily
funny.
basis.
Hilarious.
Sorry, I
Patrick,
was
you weren't
just
having
curious
sex.
because
Let's face it. Come on, Patrick, you definitely weren't having sex.
Dude, I organized
Not with a partner.
I organized a threesome last night. I mean, there were a couple of no-shows, but I still had a good time.
The thought of Dearson having sex is absolutely disgusting right now. I'm trying to like burn that visual out of my head.
You look just like me. What are you talking about?
Yeah. You guys could probably sub in.
I was curious about the wife beater comment because I know that Dee is more heavily armed than Patrick, so there's no wife beating going on there in that house.
I always keep a jump on her. It's a trick.
I fire that
There's
one.
always a gun within reach here.
You never be too careful.
UFC bed.
Yeah. Where are you at, Patrick? Patrick Whalen.
I am at Catalina.
Do you just like keep driving this boat back and forth to Catalina? What are you, a water taxi?
Yeah.
Uber?
Kind of.
Woober?
No, this is the last of the Catalina drone shoot, and then I'm done after this week. So, and then I turn it over to the city, and they make some web stuff out of it. I don't know what the hell they're doing with it, but yeah.
Is it the motherfucking Catalina wine mixer?
That's why I'm here. I'm actually hosting it, and I will have three-ways, but most of them won't show up.
Jesus Christ.
Boats and hose and
They're
shit.
all crazy. Bye, Cosmo. Yeah. So anyways, are we running out of things to talk about?
Cosmo got an interview today by one of
Who
our
did?
TV channels. Yeah. For a restart.
Cosmo did? Cosmo did or you did?
He did. Yeah.
Why does he always take all the fame and you got to like do all the work?
I think she's going to interview me too. I don't know. Wait, she wanted to do a
Oh,
in-person-
Cosmo's still here. Sorry, I'm talking about you, Cosmo.
No,
I
she
thought
wanted
you were
to do
gone.
a,
I was giving you shit.
see his
He's
man
just about to
cave.
leave.
That's right. You're right. She needs to get interviewed, but
I'll
now we
do
want
it.
to talk about ACDC or something, you know? So
Yeah. He's a better name dropper. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm reading about in Finland, they have dogs that can detect COVID that they're testing. You have the option of going through that line. They'll take a swipe of your skin. In 10 seconds, the dog will react. If you're clean, you move on. If the dog says you're positive, they'll take you through a regular test.
By swipe of your skin, do you mean he like bites you and takes a chunk out? Or?
I think your explosives, right?
It smells your asshole.
It smells
Why
your
am I
ass.
bringing that up, man? Because
it's so hard to get anyone to take that seriously. I just shared that with a couple of other groups.
Funny you say that. I'm actually working with a group right now on, they have 20 of those dogs in the US and we're trying to bring them into some festivals.
Well, that'd be awesome. I mean, honestly, guys, that's a 10-second test potential. That's
Well, listen,
that would be
as
amazing.
long as they stop,
seconds.
sniffing for drugs and sniffing for COVID, we'll be good.
I think they can only sniff for one thing, so that's good.
Plus, I think you could. Can't you bribe a dog with like a 20-cent biscuit and go, "Hey, dog, fuck off." You know, and you give him the little cookie, and he goes, "Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. That guy."
I'll tell you an interesting story. Down in Guam, they're really particularly strict, you know, particularly 15, 20 years ago. And I think it was the band Color Me Bad was going into there, and there's all the dogs took interest to this one guy's backpack that was coming off the rail, and he just went, "Oh, well, it figures they put it in mine. I didn't even do that kind of stuff. We just came from Thailand. Oh my God, you know, it's them. And while he's confessing this whole thing, they open up his bag, and he's got an open bag of beef jerky. The fact that all the dogs, all his friends walked on through, you know. I think the moral is don't confess to the crime till you know what you're charged with.
That is crazy.
Well, hey, Bob, going back to that thing with the dogs, that sounds just, they've been claiming 100% results, you know? So yes, on one side, we're looking at all these chemical tests, but wouldn't that be fantastic, man? You know?
Yeah, we're at 99.6% result positives.
Amazing.
Oh, see? I'm not being crazy.
Positives.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you mean? Did we ever get any data back from the Germany event? From the
They've only
event that
missed
they did?
0.4.
Oh,
4%
you mean like
of
as far
positive.
as
The dog can smell really, really good, Marcel. That's what it means.
right. But it's not positives. They're not testing 99% positives. They're just
No,
the dogs
they're
are right
that efficient.
99.5% of the time. The dogs
Accuracy.
are right.
Accuracy.
Correct.
Right.
Good
So
snippets.
Andrew, I'm curious what you did with this stadium thing last week. It was audio. What the hell is that?
We installed the sound system in Raider Stadium.
Oh, it wasn't your sound system. You were just
it was back in April we put it in there. We did all the custom fabrication, the rigging, the custom bumpers, the whole pre-testing of it, had it at our shop, fired it up for 2 weeks, and then transported it to the stadium fully built and just flew them off the trailers.
Wow.
So it was all done back in April, but finally when the place opened, they're able to post about it.
Very cool.
Well, the stadium looked really cool at the game Monday night.
No, it's an unbelievable stadium.
It looked pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Hey, I just noticed Anthony Cahill is on here, and you're muted and you're on a phone, so we won't be able to see you, but maybe we can hear you. Anthony, can you tell us
I'm not actually on a phone.
Oh, there you are. Can you tell us anything about your Light Up Red Canada thing last night? We actually talked about it earlier. I don't think you were here yet.
No, I was in a class thing for school. Well, the East Coast got hit with a hurricane, so that happened.
Hey.
But the rest of the country did pretty well. Toronto was probably the center of it. They had every single major square in Toronto lit up. Let me check my Facebook. Because
I actually saw a lot of
most
stuff
it.
out of Calgary.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
I think Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and Edmonton and Calgary were probably the best places lit up.
Cool.
And the map, let me pull it up. We didn't have like 3,000 venues, but we had officially.
No, you guys did great. You're a smaller country than the U.S., so if you had 300, that means you did as well as we did because you're 10% of the size of the U.S.
682 official people.
That's amazing.
Really good. That's really
well
good.
done.
Keep in mind, we have
really
like
well
1/10 the size of a production community in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
our
very
CT
well done.
Canada guys sent me links this morning about what happened last night.
I mean, fuck you for not using our branding.
Hey, don't yell at me. Yell at the people who
But
came
very,
up with it.
very well done. Very well done for what you guys pulled off. Because, you know, we were talking about it earlier, and one of the comments I made was how impressed I was how many women you have in the production world in Canada, because a lot of those signs that were held up by women.
It's honestly 50-50 up here.
That's so cool. That's really, really cool. Love that. No, congratulations. You guys did a good job. And
the only thing that sucks was that the hurricane that didn't actually end up being anything close to a hurricane. They said, oh, get ready, it's going to knock your power out, this and that. I'm like, it didn't even rain last night.
Wow. The most impressive thing I saw was Geddy Lee put out a public service announcement for you guys. And, you know, me being a Canadian bass player, huge Rush fan, obviously. So Geddy Lee saying, you know, talking good things, and obviously Howard had everything to do with that. But
I'm assuming such was the case.
Yeah, very impressive. Good job, guys.
In Toronto, they actually had plans to do have a bunch of people in all the squares, everybody with an uplight and a light, and take drone videos and all this stuff. But unfortunately, in the last 5 days, we've seen 3,000 new cases of COVID in Ontario.
Oh.
So everything is kind of like, nope, everything's done.
Well, the thing that I saw in Calgary with all the, I think it was like case.
Yeah, they
lids.
had cases flipped over.
Yeah, they had like tops from cases, and then they had like little signs on each case saying this case represents, you know, 100 people or whatever. I thought, and then a red light pointed up at the case top. I thought that was really cool. Very powerful stuff. You guys had some really good creative ideas up there.
We got a whole bunch of people who made signs like this. I'll put it up closer to the camera.
Yeah,
Everybody
I talked about that
something
earlier.
like this, and they posted it. And I think I saw a couple hundred, and everybody just shared this sort of thing. And
You're 19. How have you been in the industry for 7 years? I think you're bullshitting.
I'm 22.
So you started at 15. So somebody was paying.
I
you
did.
as
I did
illegal
my
slave
first
child labor.
I did my first paid gig at 15.
Yeah, Gumper. I remember
I
that.
was gonna-
I
I was
sold
gonna
him
say,
shit at
sorry.
15. I think I sold Andrew stuff at 15.
I think it was 15 or 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we did well. The reason
Good job.
I feel like I should explain to everybody why most of Canada felt like we shouldn't join in to your event.
Yeah. So I just muted him right now.
Really, Marcel? All right, you can explain it. You explain.
No,
it.
go ahead. I'm just kidding, Anthony. Go
So
ahead.
basically, in Canada, our government took good care of us when this first happened. So the second everybody got shut down, they introduced something called CERB, which for every single person who got unemployed, it's $2,000 a month, and that's been 7 months now. So it's no questions asked, no nothing. You just apply online, you get $2,000 a month. You don't have to pay it back. You don't have to do anything. You just claim it as income tax, basically. The other thing they did is, I think it depends on the business, but if it's an essential business, they give you $5,000 in credit. And if it's an essential worker, they did wage subsidy. So it's up to 75% wage subsidy. So if you can keep somebody, they kept you. But I think there's a few more for businesses, but I didn't look into that because it doesn't apply for me personally.
Yeah, what I had heard, Anthony, was that they did a very good job taking care of individual workers, but not so good on businesses, because I know a lot of businesses in Canada who failed already. And so, you know, it was interesting, because when we were talking to Canada about coming on board with us on the whole We Make Events thing, because we called it North America because I'm Canadian, and I was very passionate about bringing Canada into this thing with us, because we could have easily made it, you know, We Make Events US. And but I wanted Canada to become involved. But what happened was Canada said, hey, look, we think that you're adversarial against your government, that you're like basically going, you know, you're protesting the government.
That's just the way
And we love our government because they're taking really good care of us right now. And so, you know, it was an interesting thought, but yeah. So anyways, I'm really proud and happy of what you guys did up there. I think you did a fantastic job. So
we definitely needed the extra 3 weeks, though. I will tell you that now.
Yep. Yeah.
Nothing happens fast in this country.
Well, it certainly did here. So, you know, we definitely moved quickly.
Keep in mind, you had companies
Anyhow.
there that were willing to give you gear. In Canada, nobody wanted to give us any gear. Like, I was fighting with companies. I'm like, why won't you give us gear? We're the ones who are moving it. What's a couple hours on an LED fixture going to change? Like, it's a 50,000 hour LED engine. What's 4 hours on that? But there's only so much I could do.
Well, that's where Christie Lights comes in, right? I mean, where's Robert Roth when we need him?
Yeah, there's no Christie Lights on Canada's East Coast. Halifax, Nova Scotia is a very shitty production town. I'll tell you that right now.
There's not a ton going on in Halifax, is it?
There's 2 production companies in this whole province who are capable of doing an arena show with 5,000 people. I'll put it there.
Listen, everybody, I have to jump off to my next call. I believe Marcel may be dealing with a bit of a personal issue. That leaves Steve Warren in charge. So, Steve, wake up. Take over from the Europe side. And you run the call.
Heartless, man. I can't believe you did that to me, Patrick. It's like midnight, and I'm
Yeah, I know. That's
bottle of wine, man. That's right. I was just chilling
he who
out.
stays muted gets thrown under the bus. So it's all you. Have a great week, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Have a good one. I guess that like when we're done, we say goodbye when our host has left. So I'm gonna.
You know, we all have to message Marcel to tell him congratulations on this.
We finished at 11:30. What's going on?
Steve just woke up.
I was just slowly drifting. This has been quite a calm event. This has been quite a calm one, hasn't it?
It has, all things considered. This is pretty benign.
Copies of all the links, which who was that who sent them? She was fantastic. Angie, yeah, brilliant.
Angie, very knowledgeable.
It's like being on holiday for a week. You're like, okay, right. Everyone's just chatting about TV and stuff. I'm just getting mellow. It's good. It's midnight. Hey, well done. Marcel is still here though. Our glorious
He's
leader.
here. It looks like he's back.
He's Marcel. What means the breach like
Are you
that?
back, Marcel?
Yeah.
Everything okay,
Yeah.
buddy?
Marcel, you
Yeah,
should probably take care of that stuff.
Yeah.
We can leave.
I'm gonna
We
keep
can
going
leave.
now, guys.
Yeah.
Thank
We'll
you.
see you guys
I
later.
love you all. You're the
Be
best.
good.
Thanks. See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.